welcome back to my channel. I am back with another writing tips video. Today I'm going to be giving my tips and tricks on how to stay motivated while writing. Hopefully making this video will help me take my own advice because I too need some help in the motivation department. Finishing writing projects is always really difficult because when you work on something for so long, you will inevitably get kind of bored of it or lose the passion for it. That doesn't mean that, you don't love that project anymore. It just can get a little repetitive to be working on the same idea for so long. And I don't know about you, but I definitely struggle with continuing or finishing a project when that initial spark is gone, because it will leave. That first new idea excitement will always go away when the idea is not so new anymore. But we all want to finish our writing projects or get farther along, so we all just kind of need some tips, some motivation sometimes to finish projects. While I am struggling to write my current project, I will say I have finished a full 90,000 word first draft in 5 months using some of these tips. So that's my qualifications, but that doesn't mean I don't still struggle. So that kind of leads me into my first point. This is more advice than an actual tip that you can apply, but something that I heard once was you can't always rely on passion to finish your writing projects, because as I was saying earlier, it gets a bit repetitive, always thinking about and writing the same book for months and months at a time. So you can't always rely on that passion. I mean, every writer knows that moment when you are working on a new story idea and you're like, it always happens when you're in the middle of a chapter and you're writing and you just feel the excitement die. It's soul crushing. But if we only rely on that excitement, nothing would ever get done. So something that I always try to remember is that you can't rely on passion. And I love writing, it's my favorite thing in the whole world, so there will always be a love there, but I'm talking about that excitement of finally getting to start the new idea. That's going to go away, and I have to stay motivated. So once the passion goes away, you really have to lean into just motivation and determination to finish. Obviously, if you just want to write for fun and you just want to follow that spark, that is 100% fine. But for main projects that I want to get published, you kind of have to hunker down, and really finish. So let's move into the actual tips that we can apply to finish. And I'm saying we because my motivation to finish my main project is not great right now. I should be filming this video in front of a mirror or something, so I talk to myself. Anyways, let's get into the first tip. The first tip that I have is to romanticize your writing, and that's honestly just advice on how to be motivated for anything. You have to make it seem really special and fun in your mind. With studying, you can put on some aesthetic background music or go to a cute cafe and study. That applies to writing too. Make it feel less of a chore, something that you have to do, and make it feel really exciting, because if that project's not exciting, you can make the whole act of writing exciting. Some ways that I do this is I will go outside and write, put out a blanket, sit in the grass and write, because it just feels like you're doing something special. So going other places and writing, you could go to a cafe. There's not a lot of cafes near me, but you could go to a cafe, you could go to a park, just take it somewhere else. Honestly, you could go to another room in your house. That's something that I tried for my last writing project, and it really helped. You just move to a different room and you're like, this is so fun. Just switch things up and that will bring back some of the excitement. Some smaller ways of romanticizing it or making your writing seem really fantastical in your mind or something. I don't know what the word is, but some smaller ways are to make a playlist for your book. Make a Pinterest board featuring the aesthetic of your book, or just some pins that remind you of your character. You could also like do little sketches or doodles of your characters. I just find that making things about my book that's like outside of the actual document, like making a playlist is super fun because you can kind of explore the vibe. I don't like to say that, I don't like that word, but you know what I mean. You can explore the kind of feel of your book in music. Pinterest is the same thing, just make a little mood board and you can really see the big picture, and it kind of reminds you why you loved this project so much when you romanticize it in that way. Something else that I do that's kind of along these same lines is I will just put my headphones on and listen to music and just imagine scenarios for my book. I'll either imagine scenes and let them kind of play out in my mind, or I'll use that as kind of like a brainstorming technique, and that really to re-spark the imagination and the fun that was initially there at the beginning. Yeah, essentially this whole tip is just make your writing fun again. Put that on a red hat. Yeah, and do that in any way that works for you. Make the activity fun and make the idea fun again by kind of expanding your imagination. Another way to romanticize your writing is to fill out writing worksheets or writing templates. Those can be really fun because it's like an activity that you get to put your energy in, but it's about your book and it's about your writing, and so in the end it's helpful, but it's different from just sitting there staring at your document. It's a little bit more fun to do like a little writing worksheet. You can find a ton of different ones online for free. There's also some options on Etsy if you wanted to buy a nicer one. Like you could buy some plotting templates and just kind of fill them out. And for me, it really helps just make you appreciate that idea again when you get to put it on a cute worksheet. I got some super cute templates sent to me by a really lovely viewer, so I'm gonna cut to me filling those out, and I'm just gonna show you how fun it is. So first of all, these templates are super easy to download and print out, and they are stunning. I put mine in a binder for more organized access. Just writing my name on the front here. This is kind of like a plotting planner for people that don't love to plot, but I love to plot and this was still super fun, so it's for everybody. Let's see the inside. I love this design. It's so simple and easy to use, but it's really pretty. It's super easy to start, very well explained and well thought out. I'm just diving right in. Put in my title and other info for my book. This planner would be perfect for my Pantser viewers who just want some help with how to get a brief outline. I love this worksheet because it's not too intense with like a ton of plotting, which I know a lot of people don't enjoy, but it's very thorough and it has everything that you'll need to make a good outline with all the information that you need. There are so many helpful worksheets in here. We've got some examples of themes and character arcs, which is such a great idea. I am obsessed with this planner, and you can get one for yourself at the lovely Pantser's Pen Etsy shop. I will link her shop in the description. She has so many different templates to choose from. Here's the one that I showed. She also got a website. I just wanted to say thank you for sending me these templates again. I love them. They're super helpful. I hope everyone watching gives them a try as well. Help elevate your story. Tip number 2 is to reward yourself. Do you remember back in school when you were in elementary school and you would do really good on a project and you'd get like a sticker? We're all little kids at heart, so you need to reward yourself for work. You know, there are days where the only thing getting me through my writing session is knowing that I'm gonna have a cookie afterwards. Like, sometimes that's what you gotta do. Some ways that I reward myself is with food. Just be like, okay, after I do this, I can get a little treat. Maybe you could say, if I write 1,000 words, I'll go out and get a fun little coffee drink. I don't drink coffee, but again, you do you. If I'm really into like a show at the moment, I'll say, okay, if I sit down and finish this chapter, I can binge watch this show later. Give yourself something that will help you get through the writing session. Something else that I do to reward myself and make it fun to reach the goals is, and I've talked about this before, I have little stickers on my wall for the number of chapters that I need to write in total, and every time I finish one, I get to rip one of the little stickers off. You know, it sounds dumb, but it's really fun. Tip number 3 is to make small goals. Kind of goes with the reward yourself one. If you give yourself massive goals, like if you're like, today, I want to write 5 chapters in one sitting, that's gonna feel a lot harder. When you give yourself smaller goals, you get rewarded more often. And then it's the brain connection of getting something fun when you hit the goal. But if you give yourself a goal that's really hard to attain, you'll never be rewarded. So give yourself smaller goals so then you hit them more often, if that makes sense. My 4th tip is read. Reading helps motivate me in so many ways. First of all, reading is just fun because reading is essentially studying for writing. It helps kind of introduce new words, new phrases into your vocabulary, so it's very inspiring in that way. But also, whenever I go into like a bookstore or a library, or even when I just hold a book in my hand, I just am like, I want to hold my book in my hand. And that thought in itself is really motivating to grit my teeth and finish, because I'm just imagining how rewarding that would feel to hold the finished thing in your hands. How great will that feel? Don't you want to feel that feeling? That's something that I try to think about a lot, is how incredible will it feel to finish? Like, sometimes it's tedious, it's annoying, it's boring to work on the same project, but how will you feel when it's done? And you get to hold it, and you get to see it, and you get to read it. Exciting! My 5th tip is a tip that people might not like, but that is outlining. I know a lot of people are pantsers. I know that because the last video I posted was an outlining video, and a lot of people in the comments were like, yeah, I'm a pantser. So I know that there are people who are not gonna like this advice, but when you have even just a rough outline, you know what you're doing next. So it kind of helps with writer's block, because you already know what's happening next. I mean, I love plotting, so maybe I'm not the person to speak on this, but I feel like when I know what's coming next and I like know what scenes I'm gonna write next, like it's really exciting because I'm excited to write those parts, instead of just being like a pantser and not knowing what's coming next, like, or knowing a tiny little idea and just like reading through your outline or something. It's really exciting because you're like, oh, I can't wait to write that. I can't wait to write that. Like, sometimes there's like a scene that is kind of filler and you're like, I don't want to write this, but the next scene is really exciting. And I think when you have an outline and you know that excitement is coming, it helps you get through the maybe harder ones to write. So consider outlining. Okay, just consider it. You don't have to do it as intense as me. You could fill out one of the little writer's worksheets. Again, they're in the description. That helps a little bit with just knowing where the story is going. Okay? Just try it maybe. My 6th tip is to hold yourself accountable in some way. How I do that is I will tell a close friend about the book, or I'll post online about it. And so that there are people out there in the world besides you that are excited about this book, and they're kind of like, I want to read it when it's done. I want to see this. And that's very motivating, to know that there's somebody out there that is excited about your book. Very motivating. And if that's not motivating to you, like to have kind of pressure, sometimes we need pressure. Just saying. I told my best friend about the book I'm currently writing, and every time she comes over, she's like, is it done? And I'm like, no. And it's like, you have to watch them be like disappointed every time. And so in itself motivates you, because again, think about how fun it would be for them to read the book and to get that feedback from them, and for them to finally see it. Like, how fun. So I find that really motivating to tell other people and hold yourself accountable. Also, posting my book online is another way of romanticizing it. You could make little edits, little montages of your book, and that's just really fun to give your book another life, if that makes any sense. Tip number 7 is to try writing sprints. You can find tons of writing sprints just on YouTube for free. And essentially, if you don't know what a writing sprint is, it is a timer, and you're going to write for that timer, and then you get a certain amount of time as a break. And you can find writing sprint videos right here on YouTube, and they'll have a really cute background, maybe some background music. Like if you're writing a fantasy, you could find fantasy timers, and they'll play like classical orchestra music, and the background of the video will be like the inside of a castle, and they'll have a timer, and you have to write until that timer runs out, and then you get a break. And then another timer starts, and you write for another however many minutes. You can find them for all different lengths. I actually have a writing sprints video on my channel. It's a little winter themed one. The little backgrounds I chose were like the inside of a winter cabin, and there's like the sound of a fireplace crackling in the background. I know it's like summer now, so I don't know if anyone wants that, but there is that. I'll put it in the description. Also, you could just do your own writing sprint. I mean, just set a timer and then take a break. I find these really motivating because it's fun with a little fun video and background for the ambiance, you know? And then it's fun because it's just like, I just have to write till this timer ends. And honestly, a lot of the time when I do a writing sprint, I will pause the video and just want to keep writing because I found the kind of motivation that I needed. But then there are days where it's like, ugh, this is hard, you know, kind of trudging through the writing, and you're looking forward to the break. But writing sprints are definitely helpful. And my last tip is you have to just write. I mean, it's so annoying to hear, and I know that, but you really do. Like yesterday, I was not feeling it, but I sat down and I think I wrote like 500 words, which is not a lot, but you just have to write. Like every single word that you write is closer to finishing. You just have to do it. For me, a lot of the challenge with motivation is just like I'm not feeling inspired, or I'm not feeling excited to write, but I love writing. And I mean, I don't want to, you know, toot my own horn, but I'm not bad at writing. So like when you sit down and just start, like you just have to sit down and start. You don't have to write only when you feel excited and only when you feel inspired, because you're a writer and that's what you do. Like you don't have to only write when you're in the mood. Something that I deal with a lot is the thought that like I'm not in the writing groove, so that whatever I write is not going to be good enough. And what I have found from applying just like determination to my writing projects is that that's not true. Whether I'm feeling like inspired or not, my writing voice always comes through. I always get the point across, and you can always edit. With first drafts, you just have to put something on the paper, and that is just the truth. So honestly, my biggest motivation tip for myself is just open the damn laptop, open the document, type letters. Like that's the best motivation tip I can give, is you just have to do it. Anyways, that's all the tips I have for today. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope I gave at least one tip that you're gonna use. Maybe even just this video itself motivated you. Watching writing videos and writing content is another way to find motivation. Watching other people talk about their writing is really, really motivational and really fun. But anyways, good luck on finishing your projects. Thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful, give this video a like, comment down below your favorite tip that I gave or any of your own tips, and we can kind of share tips in the comment section. You could also subscribe if you want to. I post bookish content in general. I post a lot of reading and a lot about writing. And I will definitely do more writing tips like this in the future, and I have done them in the past, so if you want to check out my other writing tip videos, I have an entire playlist about it on my channel if you just want to check that out. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a really great day. Bye!